Hey guys, welcome back to Next Generation. Today we're going to be debunking the idea that chastity is just abstinence. So here's the reason why that is not so. To begin with, as we always do, let's define what chastity even is, and I've mentioned it in my past videos. It'll be up here, I believe, so go click on that if you want to learn a bit more about what chastity is in general, but we'll kind of cover it in today's video as well. So the definition for chastity that I like to use, I found it in the U program that Ascension Press wrote, and it basically says that chastity frees us from the selfish attitude of using another person, and thus makes us capable of real love. And it requires a pure heart, mind, and body. It orders our sexual desires according to our dignity and the dignity of other people. So when it comes to debunking the idea that chastity requires just abstinence, in the definition of chastity itself, it says that it requires both mind, heart, and body. So it's not just about what you do with your body, it's about what's going on in your head. So what you think really does matter. And your heart. So what are your intentions in those thoughts or in those actions? Your intentions are a big deal to God, and in general it affects the way that you live your life, I guess. And chastity is only really fulfilling if your intentions are to find fulfillment in God. To summarize that, chastity, it does matter what you do as well. And I think you guys are probably more interested in the body side of things, but just know that you can't separate one of those three, that in order to live like chastely, you need to have all of those three kind of covered. If you want to like really live chastity in the most pure sense possible, which I don't even think I've been able to do, but like that's what we're called to live. We're called to be holy, called to be perfect like our Heavenly Father is perfect. So why not explain what that kind of looks like. Therefore, if you were abstaining from doing stuff and you're dating, so that's not for you guys, then it would only make sense that your thoughts and your intentions have to be holy as well. And this also boils down to this really cool idea that I've often talked about in past videos, the one that says chastity is restrictive, and I kind of debunk that. Christopher West kind of touches on the idea that I talked about in a really cool way that I also wanted to talk about in this video. He talks about how he doesn't explicitly mention the word chastity, but he's kind of inferring it. Well, he just talks about loving rightly, aka chastity. But it's kind of this idea that the world tells us that we need to give in to these sexual desires because we ache for communion, and in fact that communion, that ache within us, that desire for communion with people is actually pointing us to our desire for communion with God. So God created us for love, to love one another, but also to love and serve Him as well. So chastity is a way of ordering those desires that aren't in and of themselves bad, but what we do with them does matter. Going back to the whole abstinence thing, because chastity is also about what's going on in your head and your heart, not just what you do with your body. In that case, it's also understanding what is like affection in general. And I guess if it's a type of sexual affection, it needs to be ordered towards the marital embrace. So if you're not married, what's the point in doing something when you're not going to go like all the way? Is kind of leading someone on in the same way that, you know, people use the metaphor of like turning on a car but not driving it. What we do with our bodies to will the good of the other person and to look after ourselves. And that's kind of why like passionate kissing isn't okay in dating. So if you want to learn more about that, I did create a reel a while ago, and check out my Instagram because I talk a lot about all of these controversial topics surrounding chastity within dating. So if you're keen, then definitely check out my Instagram.